welcome to Real Estate in the Lowcountry. With me is Kate Thompson, and she is, of course, with Goosehead, and we have a lot to talk about today because things are getting interesting out there. They did at least last week a little bit.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
I know. So
Especially interesting time for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
During this crazy season that we do call hurricane season, we do experience a lot of activity, and thankfully we've been graciously spared in the past.
So many times, which is great.
Yes. But lots is happening.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to discuss today a little bit about what we call moratoriums.
You were telling me this before we started filming, and that is fascinating to me. I really didn't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I didn't know really that it existed.
Well, how would you? Right.
I
mean,
and how would I?
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But essentially, a moratorium is when an insurance carrier or a market decides that they will put a pause on writing new business or changing any existing business until the storm, tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it is, passes us by. And they determine that there is no risk to writing new business and that the homes they will be insuring in the future have not had any damage.
Right.
Which makes sense, right?
It does, yeah.
But for a lot of people that are in the process of either purchasing homes or maybe changing coverages,
right, or it's time to renew, or
can create some hiccups, right?
Yes.
We want to make sure that we're getting things done and we're getting it done appropriately.
Right.
But it is helpful to understand, so when you are going through this process, we know how to lock it down and discuss it before we ever come into a point where we're like, well, we'll do what we can.
Yeah. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
A few days from now when we see what happens. Fingers crossed.
As long as we stay good.
Yeah. But so you said it could be tropical storm or hurricane. Does it have to be the tropical storm level for a moratorium to be put in place, or could it just be?
Typically they call it named storm. Anything that's named by the National Weather Service, they generally are tracking where it's going, and then we'll go a moratorium for X number of days.
Yeah.
And it's really completely up to the carrier to decide that.
Okay.
But some are more cautious than others, I would say. Like there are some that like at first sign, they're like, swoop, we're gonna lock it down. And there are others that are like, it's a few hours away, we'll go on moratorium now. But it kind of depends on their risk evaluation. But mainly for the coastal counties, which we are, is where we experience that a lot.
Sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about that too, and let's be prepared, because obviously you want your house to be as prepared as possible, so you don't have to have a claim.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the goal.
Yes, and I would advise that as we do get storms that are being predicted to come, first of all, do whatever you have to do to be safe for your family. If they tell you to evacuate, probably smart to evacuate, right? Or everybody's looking out for all of our safety. But before you do those things and do get out of Dodge, as safely as you can if possible. Sometimes storm does not allow for this time. But if you can get all of your outdoor furniture inside, that would prevent it from flying around and potentially causing a hazard to your home. Do that. And then walk around the exterior of your home so you can see its current condition. Take videos and pictures. So everything is time-stamped. Same thing on the inside of the home. And try and make note of key items. Like if you've got very, family heirloom kind of stuff that you can take with you, great. Things that can't, make sure you're documenting those items very specifically, the conditions that they are in before the storm and after the storm, so we can detail out how a claim has caused this kind of damage. But keep it on file. Know your policies. Make sure you have your declarations pages for whatever policies you have on your home, and know your insurance agent's number and how to make a claim.
Speed dial, Kate on speed dial. So I just lost my train of thought, but you were talking about having everything prepared. Taking the pictures.
Yes.
Can you do that once a season?
You can.
Presuming that there's no change after a storm. If a storm comes through like Debbie and there was no change, can you just kind of keep that for the season?
Yeah, I would say external I would do every time. Like if there's like multiple evacs, so you can, if something's changed on the exterior of the property. Interior, as long as you've got those things relatively maintained, I'm sure that's not changing. You would know best if you've done a bunch of changes on the interior, but.
And of course, if something does happen, you're like one of the first calls, right?
Yes, and we do have a team that goes 24/7 in the event of a storm, so you can call to make sure we are getting you in, first out. So, because that's very important in a claim.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as always, it's great information. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I'll see you again next time.